Hello, friends from across the nation and around the world. I'm Martin, and you are listening to Dad's Anytime Stories. And today, it's finally time for the final chapter of my first book in the Cards of Power series. The second book is out there on Amazon if you want to purchase it. Cards of Power by Martin Gage. You should be able to find it without too much trouble. And we'll be getting back to reading that one probably after Wizardcraft 2.0, which is next up on this series. Today is the end of Season 1 for the podcast, so we're going to take a week or two off before coming back with episodes from Wizardcraft 2.0, as I said. Anyways, I hope you enjoy, and if you just can't wait for more of my stories, I still publish stories 3 times a week on my first podcast, Dad's Bedtime Stories for Kids. You can find, I think, close to 600 stories there already, and 3 new ones every single week, optimized for bedtime, of course. Chapter 17, The Legendary Evolution. Carter awoke in an incredibly comfortable bed, the softest one he'd experienced in a long time. Something was poking at him. Groggy, he cracked one eye open and found Magnus still in his small dragonling form, staring at him with big, eager eyes. "Well, are you ready yet?" Magnus asked, tail wagging behind him. "Ready for what?" Carter mumbled, rubbing his face. "To try the evolution stone. I want to reach my legendary form." "Oh, yeah, good point," Carter said, sitting up. Right after breakfast. They left the beautiful, luxurious hotel room and headed down to the main lobby via the glass elevator. As soon as the doors opened, the smell of breakfast overwhelmed them. Classic hotel smells like toast and sizzling eggs and maple syrup. Carter loaded his plate with all of his favorites, piling it high. Magnus barely sat still the entire time, his tail tapping anxiously against the floor as he watched Carter eat. Once breakfast was finished, they stepped out into the morning air and made their way toward the gate leading into the advanced area. An entirely new region filled with rare and legendary magical creatures. As they passed through, the environment transformed. Lush green grass, thick trees, and sparkling lakes stretched as far as the eye could see. "I guess this place might work," Carter said, pulling the evolution stone from his pocket. "All right. First, I better evolve into my larger form," Magnus announced. Magnus powered up. The veins of lava in his body began to glow. His body stretched and expanded until he stood as tall as a grown human, his standard evolved form. Even now he looked powerful, but Carter wondered just how much more the legendary form would add. "Now, give me that stone," Magnus said. Carter handed it over. Magnus gripped the stone in his claws, studied it for a moment, then closed his eyes. The stone lit up, glowing brighter and brighter with intense red light, until all of the energy surged through Magnus's arms and into his core. His entire body glowed bright crimson, and then he began to grow again. He expanded beyond anything Carter had seen before, transforming into a towering, majestic dragon. His wingspan stretched wide, his chest burned with heat, and his body radiated raw power. He was the image of a true, legendary beast. "Wow," Magnus murmured, gazing at himself. "This form is amazing. I feel so powerful." He lifted his head and unleashed a massive plume of fire into the sky. The heat rolled outward like a shock wave, forcing Carter to shield his face and take a few steps back. "Oh, buddy, careful with that." Sorry," Magnus replied. "But I feel something else, too. Some other power I've never felt before. It's like I can feel the heat in the air. I might be able to absorb it." Magnus glowed again. The air temperature dropped rapidly. Frost formed on the grass. Carter crossed his arms over his chest, shivering as ice crept along the ground. "Careful, Magnus. It's already freezing." "Oh, well, sorry about that," Magnus said, shaking his head. "Maybe I'll save that one for later. Want a ride?" Even though Carter had his magic wing card, the offer was too tempting to refuse. Magnus lowered his body to the ground, and Carter climbed up onto his back between the wings. The spikes along Magnus's back had shaped themselves into convenient handles, giving Carter a secure place to grip. With a single leap, Magnus launched into the air, flapping his enormous wings. The ground fell away as they climbed higher and higher into the sky. From above, the advanced area sprawled out below them. Rivers, trees, and glistening lakes stretching toward the horizon. Magnus, I'm not sure how deep we should go. We don't know what kind of creatures are out here." "Don't worry about them," Magnus said confidently. "You've got me." As they flew, they passed creatures of all shapes and sizes, some towering and fierce, others small and deceptively powerful. Many gave off an aura of strength that made Carter's hair stand on end. "I need a real challenge," Magnus growled. "Something that'll let me use my full power." Maybe we should start smaller," Carter suggested. "We don't need to find the biggest thing around." "Oh, don't we?" Magnus interrupted, suddenly diving toward a distant lake below. The lake teemed with magical life. Massive dolphins and sharks leapt through the water, and long snake-like creatures darted beneath the surface. But Magnus focused on something else entirely. A far larger creature resting near the center of the lake. It looked like something out of legend. A long-necked aquatic beast with 2 glowing horns, 4 powerful fins, and a massive tail that swayed through the water like a whip. "Hey, you!" Magnus roared. "I challenge you to a fight." The creature responded with a piercing screech that echoed across the valley. Instantly, all the other creatures dove below the surface and vanished. Silence fell over the lake. The creature raised its head. Its twin horns began to glow with a vivid blue light. Water from the lake spiraled upward, forming 2 huge spheres around its horns, and then, with a shuddering pulse, the beast fired a powerful blast of water straight at Magnus. Magnus flared his wings and used one as a shield, diverting the torrent. Water exploded in every direction. "I got this, kid," Magnus said. "But you might want to find a safe spot." Taking his cue, Carter leapt from Magnus's back and summoned both his energy shield and his wing card. He floated above the battlefield, watching from a safe distance. Magnus retaliated with a column of fire, but the blast barely fazed the water beast. The two traded attacks, fire and water clashing in the air, until the creature switched tactics. It began to spin, pulling water up into a spiraling cyclone. The vortex reached upward, surrounding Magnus in a sphere of water. He struggled to breathe, but then the sphere froze solid. Moments later, it crashed to the ground and shattered, revealing Magnus at the center, cold but unharmed. "You're not gonna get rid of me that easily," he said, steam rising from his scales. Magnus began to glow again. This time, the grass in the lake itself started to freeze. The water creature flailed as the lake turned to solid ice around it. Then, Magnus unleashed all of the heat he'd stored in a single massive eruption. The fire blast was so powerful that even Carter, watching from above, had to shield himself from the heat. The wave hit the creature full force. It cracked through the ice, flinging the beast across the lake to the distant shore. Magnus landed beside it, wings flared. The creature raised its head, then slowly let it fall, accepting defeat. Carter flew down beside Magnus and stared at the massive form of the legendary water beast. "Whoa, buddy," he said. "That might have been a little extreme." "All in a day's work," Magnus replied proudly. Carter reached out to the creature, feeling the energy pulsing through it. Fluid and powerful like the currents of a great river, he focused on it. The beast began to glow blue and dissolve into light. The energy condensed into a card. He caught it. A legendary water creature. Its swirling blue design shimmered in the sun. "This is going to be worth a lot," Carter said, sliding it into his pocket. He climbed onto Magnus's back once more. They flew over the advanced area again, but no other creatures dared challenge the towering dragon. Eventually, they found a quiet open field. Carter climbed down, summoned his log cabin card, and watched as it appeared in front of him. As Magnus approached the door, he shrank automatically back into his dragonling form. "Well, that's convenient," Carter said. Inside, the cabin's vast interior greeted them. Carter made a beeline for his bedroom. Magnus curled up on the couch. Sleep came quickly. New adventures were just around the corner.